This is the OnePlus Nord CE. It is what OnePlus calls as the Core Edition. It basically stands in between the original OnePlus Nord and the OnePlus Nord N10. Yeah, the naming scheme is pretty confusing, but essentially, this phone has pretty decent specs to start with. It has Snapdragon 750G, Adreno 619 GPU, and for this one right here, it has 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of non-expandable storage. Yes, you can get better specs from other companies like Poco or Xiaomi for the same price, but what you won't get with other brands is Oxygen OS. Although they have changed it quite a bit recently, but it is still one of my favorite operating systems. It runs really well, it looks great, and most importantly, it doesn't try to shove ads down your throat. Yeah, it is almost weird acknowledging no ads as a feature, but unfortunately, that's the truth for these mid to low range smartphones. So, the Oxygen OS paired up with this pretty great 1080p 90Hz panel helps this phone to feel really smooth. It does hold up quite well, but I did notice a few frame drops while I'm pushing it towards its limits. But this is more than acceptable at this price point, right? But I do also notice that YouTube refuses to run at 90Hz. I use YouTube a lot and I notice it every time I launch YouTube. The frame rate immediately drops to 60. I have tried a bunch of things, but it never worked for me. I mean, this might be YouTube's own problem, but nevertheless, it's there and hopefully someone could fix it in an update. Oh, by the way, this problem still persists in the OnePlus 8 Pro, so that's weird. Anyways, if your main priority is gaming, well, this is not the phone you're looking for. There are better phones at this price point with better GPUs, but still, don't get me wrong, you can easily play modern games with this, just that you might not be able to push the graphics as much, you know? Look, I love the fact that they have the headphone jack in this phone. Yeah, it really does have one. But what are they even thinking when they removed the alert slider? I mean, that has been a OnePlus trademark and everyone loved it. Well, that is one of the things I am not happy with this phone. The lack of the amazing alert slider and the not so great sounding mono speaker. I think we took stereo speakers for granted these days. Going back to this speaker really reminded me the past. For context, it just sounded a little bit better than the old Samsung Galaxy S8, if you would even remember how that sounded like. But anyways, the overall design and feel of this phone is just decent because, you know, after all, it is made out of plastic, but it is quite thin though. In fact, I'm actually surprised that they could fit a 4500 mAh battery in there. And naturally, this gives me pretty great battery life. I can get easily a day out of it, and the inclusion of a Warp Charge 30 adapter in the box and a free case is also a huge welcome. The cameras you get in this phone is really not that great, to be honest. It is one of the weakest points on this phone. I'm not gonna go in depth with this camera, but as you can see, yeah, there is not enough sharpness. The colors doesn't look that great. I mean, it works fine if you just want a camera to capture and keep stuff. Anyways, I think judging by these photos, you can see that this is not a camera-oriented phone. So then, what does this phone do better than its competitors? Well, as I said, software and user interface. Having a clean, fast, and good-looking user interface might actually be more important than you think. But there's one problem though, and it is from OnePlus themselves. Recently, they released the OnePlus Nord 2, and honestly speaking, I think you should get that one if you want something that has a decent camera. I mean, you might need to save a little more money, but hey, it is a better phone all around. The price difference may vary from one region to another, so that is something for you to keep in mind. Or you can just skip all that and get an older flagship killer device from OnePlus that will just outperform both of them any time of the day. So I guess I will let you guys decide on which phone is right for you. And as always, we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.